Listen, I promised Morrissey I wasn't going to cry, so don't try, OK? Hello and welcome to Friday Night with Jonathan Ross, and the World Cup is over. And it's... And it's left a mark on South Africa. It is apparently, this is true, it's apparently a Zulu tradition to name newborn children after events that are taking place at the time of their birth. So, for example, you may be named after the day you were born on or even the hour of your birth itself. The World Cup has thrown up a few anomalies, though, and these are all genuine names given to South African babies over the last month. I'm not making this up. Are you ready for these? Vuvuzela Malongo. Offside Mkhunu. Red card Mabatha. Tickets Ngubana. They're brilliant, aren't they? My absolute favourite. This is, and once again, not making this up, Park and Ride Kumalo. He knows exactly where he was created. And let's have a look at who's in my green room this evening, ladies and gentlemen. My first guest is an award-winning actor. And he's not just an actor, he is, I think, one of the actors of our generation. Always a fantastic guest. I couldn't be happier that he's here tonight. He is the one and only Mickey Rourke, ladies and gentlemen. Look at Mickey, looking great. Wow. Mickey, great to have you back. Thank you so much, sir. Great to have you here. Now, a word of warning for you, Britain. Mickey is not really here to promote anything. He's just come over to party, OK? So all police leave has been cancelled, and the government has made its strategic vodka reserves available for Mickey this evening. Mickey Rourke, ladies and gentlemen, there he is. Great to see you again, Mickey. My next guest is a martial arts expert, perhaps the martial arts expert. He's an actor, a global superstar, one hell of a singer as well. He is Mr. Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan. Jackie, great to see you. Jackie Chan. Finally got you on the show. I'm a huge Jackie Chan fan. Can you believe, ladies and gentlemen, that Jackie is 56 years old? Can you believe that? That's incredible. And still making martial arts movies. I'm going to be 50 this year. If I made one, it would have to be called Crouching Tiger, Weakened Bladder. Mr. Jackie Chan on the show this evening. Thanks, Jackie. We have another guest for you. Oh, yeah. You know who it is already. Yeah. Quite simply, one of the most famous human beings on the planet. Mr. David Beckham. Hi, David. Look at David Beckham. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining me, David. Now, you probably know David's just back from South Africa. He was there for the World Cup, of course, although he didn't actually play, much like the rest of the England team. I know, that's not fair. They tried, they did their best, I know. We've wanted David on the show ever since we started 9 years ago, or 10 years ago, depending on how you count it. You took your bloody time, didn't you?
Hey? No, I'm sorry.
You're another week and you'll be on Friday night with Connie Huck. You're lucky. That's a very real threat, ladies and gentlemen. It's David Beckham. Thank you, David. And you know, one of the real delights for me doing this show has been the music we've had on. Over the years, we've had just some of the best performers in the history of modern popular music, and we end the show with one of the all-time greats. I'm so thrilled, I'm delighted, I'm honoured and flattered they're here this evening. It's Roxy Music! There you go, Brian, Phil, Andy and Paul, Roxy Music! Looking good. Phil looks a bit like Bono's babysitter with those glasses on. Look at that lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Mickey Rourke, Jackie Chan, David Beckham, Roxy Music. It's like when you're in hospital and all your favourite relatives turn up at your bedside. Now, the World Pea Shooting Championships were held recently, and pea shooting has come on a bit since I was a lad, because it used to be you'd use like a biro tube, just some regular peas in it. This year, it was won by this bloke. Look at his equipment here. Ian Ashmead using a laser-guided pea shooter. A laser-guided pea shooter, which sounds like cheating to me, but we can go one better, because I've had a word with the show's armourer, and they have produced this, the world's first peazooka. I'm going to give it a go. Brace yourself, Beckham. Look at that. Look at that movement. Thank you, David. Yeah. Shall we get my first guest out, ladies and gentlemen? There he is.
I should have come that way.
You come any way you want. It's you can do what you want. Wow. Mickey, you look fantastic. The hair's come off, and you've lost quite a lot of weight since the wrestling, I guess, haven't you? Have you been working on that?
It took about a year and a half, but I still have a lot more to take
But doesn't
off.
he look fantastic, ladies and gentlemen? He looks incredible. Well done. It must be... And I know from experience, when you get older, it's a little bit harder to
When you
lose.
get what?
When you get harder. And the hair, is this for a part, or is this just for the summer? What is this?
A little of both. Yeah, a little of both.
What's the part? Can you tell us what it is?
What part is it? I don't know yet.
Oh, okay. But it requires a shorter haircut. This one's more established.
Not really. I just got tired of it.
It looks great. It looks great.
Yeah.
Because I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you about the kind of parts you seek out, because let's face it, your career is right back on track. I mean, you're getting big films and big parts, but I'm guessing the kind of roles you're looking for are less the action roles, even though you're great in them, you love doing them, more the roles like that, character pieces.
The action roles are really quite boring to do. I think as long as, it's like anything else, you got to just keep challenging yourself, and otherwise, it's like, I remember reading a book about a great director who directed James Dean and Marlon Brando, and he says, most great actors will only do 3 really great movies in their whole career, because eventually what happens, and this is a quote from the book, is you turn to wax fruit. You get used to it.
You become a star, or is that because just your acting style becomes a star?
I just think you get used to, you start to mail it in, you know, and so you just got to keep doing your road work and challenging yourself and fall. You know, you could do a movie where you're going to fall on your ass, but you took the chance to go the distance a little bit, you know, instead of doing a safe movie that's easy, that's a guaranteed blockbuster.
So when you had the kind of, well, I don't know what you call it, meltdown sounds wrong, but when you kind
14 years out of work?
When you lost your way before, was that because the parts weren't what you wanted to be? Was it because you weren't happy, you weren't satisfied with what you were doing? Was that one of the reasons?
No, I think when I lost my way, it was, I think I resented the fact of being treated differently, being kind of successful and having notoriety and having some money and being a Hollywood actor. And then I thought, you know, where were all these people, you know, when I was this big? And I think it sort of, it ate at me. It's like, you know, I don't need them now that I'm a man, but, you know, when you're a kid, it's a different...
You needed that, and that wasn't there for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody goes through that, you know, but it made me short-circuit. So it was an anger issue. You know, the tabloids all say, oh, he had a drug problem or a drinking problem. That's the easy way to label it, you know. But it was a lot deeper than that.
There was a deeper problem
it was deeper than that.
That turned you to drugs.
Sort of like your hairdo, yeah. There's got to be a reason that you
just because you've
still comb your hair like that.
Just because you've gone, well, I did this as an homage to you. I said, give me the Mickey Rourke this evening.
Yeah.
I'm taking it off, I'm dyeing it blue for the summer.
You are?
Yeah, I might do. That's the only same way to respond to that. Ignore it. So, you know, you mentioned before, you came on and you told me how Sylvester Stallone was one guy who came and kind of bailed you out, and he said, I want you to work again.
Well,
I want
you know,
you to do this.
I've repeated the story before, so I hope I'm not boring anybody, but I was out of work for 14 years, you know, living in this dump, and I had a phone. At the time, I didn't have an agent, so I used to, like, spend hours just looking, go, would you ring, please? And I thought, okay, all I had left were my motorcycles and my clothes. So I put my best on. I went out to have a nice meal in a good place by myself, because when you're down and out, you can't even get a date. So I'm sitting there having a bowl of spaghetti I could barely pay for, and I'm eating it. And I always stayed in the gym, so I was looking pretty good. And I look up, I felt somebody standing over me, and Stallone is standing there. He says, hey, how you doing? I said, oh, you know, hey, Sly, you know. He says, you look pretty good, blah, blah, blah. He says, listen, I'm doing this movie where I need somebody who looks like they can kick my ass. You want to go to work? I said, yeah, sure. And I had a Mini Cooper at the time, a 1963 Mini Cooper. I couldn't even fill the thing up with gas. I was so broke.
So you were so broke?
So he gave me, I think he gave me like 2 weeks work on To Get Carter, the remake of the Michael Caine movie. Yeah. And I went, wow, I could pay my rent now for 6 months.
And that kind of gave you a foothold back in the business.
It really did, yeah, it really did, because it was Sean Penn had given me like a day's worth of work, and then Sly. And so now that everything's been going pretty good since The Wrestler, you know, it's like Sly called me and said, listen, I'm doing this movie with a bunch of action stars. I'd love for you to come and work for a day. So, you know.
But here's something, because I imagine that's not the sort of part or film you would necessarily seek out after The Wrestler.
No, but the man came to my rescue
so
when
you
I was
did
down
him
and out.
Yeah,
and,
I know, I'm not knocking, I'm saying it's clear to me you did that as a favour in return for him.
I did it as a favour, but also Sly's a very good writer. I mean, he said, I need you for a day. And then I get there, and he had the dialogue written. Yeah. And then when I got there, he wrote something that was like that long. And I go, you want me to say all that? He says, well, somebody's got to speak in the movie. I said, okay.
But you know, it's interesting because it's an action movie I've seen. It's called The Expendables, and it's not out for a while, is it, over here? I don't know.
I don't believe.
It's out for a few weeks' time. I've seen it, and if I was like kind of 12, it would be, for me, the greatest movie ever made. I still loved it, but it's kind of a you know, one of those big action movies.
Well, he's good at that. The thing about Sylvester Stallone, he knows exactly what he wants. And he put in Randy Couture, the UFC fighter, the Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
but you also got in it. What a gosh, you've got
Jason Statham,
Jet Li. You've got briefly, you've got Dolph Lundgren, but you've also briefly got Arnold Schwarzenegger and Bruce Willis. Yeah. It's kind of like all of the big '80s action heroes in one film.
He called in all the markers. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you notice a change in those actors, those performers? Because these guys have all been around for a while. And they were all young stars, or they all had some taste of stardom young, and now they're kind of mellowing. They're now getting
Well, I like it because Sylvester, what they call him Sly, he would walk around and he'd know everything, and then he'd say to these guys that could destroy him, just say the line. And I go, wow. You know?
He was completely in charge.
Oh, yeah, very in charge.
It's out on the August the 19th. It's not out till the summer, but I loved it. I went to see it with my son and his friends. They all loved it. So you haven't been to see it yet?
I haven't seen The Wrestler yet.
Okay. You haven't seen The Wrestler yet?
Or Iron Man, no.
Wow.
I need to let 3 or 4 kind of years go by before I watch stuff.
Why is that? What would happen if you watched it?
Because if I see something I don't like, I'll call the director up and the producers in the middle of the night and raise hell. Then I'll be out of work another 14 years.
So this is self-preservation.
Yeah, it is, really.
Let me ask you about Iron Man 2, because I thought you were tremendous. You haven't seen it, of course, we've established this, but you were great in it, and it was a great fun film. You played a Russian guy with Super's Whiplash, and but you learned a little bit of Russian for the part, didn't you?
The girlfriend's Russian.
The girlfriend's Russian? Yeah. Is that how that came about? Did you meet her through Iron Man 2?
No, but it was the process. I went over. I was in Russia doing some research, and I went to one of the prisons there, and then I met a guy who just came out of a Russian prison after about 10 or 12 years, and I was looking at him, and he had all these crazy. I've seen old guys with a lot of ink.
They had that kind of weird.
Everything means something. You know, little things here on their fingers, all the way up their ass. The guy had he dropped his pants and he had 2 eyeballs down near his groin, and I said, well, what does that mean? And he says, well, that means I'm watching over you. And I thought, I got to put those there. And they have the knees everywhere, so everything has
everywhere.
It's their criminal kind of history, what prisons they've been in, what their associations are.
It's a scary thing as well to see, I imagine.
Well, they didn't show me the scary prison, okay?
Yeah, but that one doesn't sound like it was a barrel of laughs.
No. The thing, they run a pretty tight ship over there. It's like
I imagine they do.
It's not like in the States. The guards run the prisons there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so you don't want to be in one of those. So you went out and you actually went to jail. You met these guys. That was to give you a background for the part, to give you the character for the part?
I was searching it out because it was the character has in the story spent a decade or so with his father in a Russian prison, and I was just curious to see how it worked over there.
And how is your Russian? What kind of phrases do you have? Could you speak to someone in Russian? Could you have an actual conversation?
Not really. I mean, I could say hello, how are you, good night, what's your name, what's happening, I'd like to have this to eat, a few other words, and that's
a few choice words.
Not really.
Can you tell us a word that your girlfriend's taught you?
No. She did nothing. I would work 3 hours a day with my Russian teacher, and I'd be so proud of it after, because it would take me 2 weeks to learn one sentence.
Yeah.
And then I would say it to her, and she'd go, "What are you saying?" You know, she made fun of my Russian.
Yeah. But it's so great to see you back doing the work that we know you can do, because you're just an incredible screen actor.
Well, I'm very grateful to be back. You know, you don't get a lot of things in life. You don't get a second chance.
Don't tell me that this evening, for Christ's sake. What's wrong with you?
You know what I mean.
What's wrong with you?
I want you to come back with your head shaved.
I'm going to come back with some jail tattoos as well. How great to have you back on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke from London. Great to see you. Okay. Look at that. That's a great jacket. Mickey Rourke, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mickey. Yeah, that's the way. Okay, Mickey. Shall we get my next guest out, ladies and gentlemen? Will you please welcome Mr. Jackie Chan? Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. Jackie's one of the biggest action stars in the world, OK? Just everywhere in the world, people know Jackie Chan's name, don't they? But what a strange beginning. Is it true when you were born, and you obviously don't remember this, but I'm sure you've been told, you'd been 12 months
Yes.
in the womb? You were 12 months inside your mum before you came out?
Yes.
Wow, how does
Huge
that even...
baby.
Huge baby.
Yeah, because we was so poor, when my parents cannot pay the money
So
for the hospital.
She just held you in?
He want to sell it to the British doctor for 250.
They were going to sell you the baby?
Yeah. And as soon as my father wanted to sell, somehow my friends said, no, you're the only child, and you keep it. But my father was lucky he kept me.
He was lucky,
Yes.
because you'd have come back and taken revenge if he hadn't. I've seen the movies. OK, Jackie, when I first saw your movies, and this was way back when in the early, I was just blown away by them. I saw Drunken Master,
Yes.
I saw Armour of God, I saw these films, and they were incredible movies. And so I read a bit about you, and I found out about you going to the Peking Opera School.
Yes.
Or just the opera school, which sounds to us like, we think that's where you go to learn to sing, but this is the kind of tradition of Peking dramatic arts and the martial arts that go with it. How old were you when you
I
were...
was 6.5.
6.5. And
Yeah.
what kind of regime was it? What kind of training did you do there?
We get up 5 o'clock in the morning, and first is a run. Run without bouncing. You just run like...
Little feet, kind of really keeping it low and steady.
And run with 2 cups full of water. And if you drop the water, the teacher will whip you. Then after that, upside down, handstand, 1 hour.
1 hour on your handstand?
Yeah,
Doing a handstand.
1 hour and handstand. After that, and then punch and kick. And routine. The routine will be like, just like a karate hapkido, you have a, like the, and Chinese will be like, bah. And whatever we do the most difficult pose, stop. Then everybody stop, like 20 minutes.
No.
Yeah, after 20 minutes, then go. Then we, stop, another 20 minutes.
Now, was that fun, or was it just horrible?
Horrible. Fun, you try it.
No,
you try to stand like this for 20 minutes.
I can't even get out there for that 30 seconds, I think.
And later on, the teacher just put a cup in your knee, somehow put the ashtray, but...
Well, to balance and to...
Yeah, no, you cannot drop it. After you drop it, just... Wow. Yeah, hit you.
How long were you there for?
10 years.
Whoa.
I want to go away.
Well, I'm sure you did. This was where you met, obviously, this gave you the skills that made you into, helped you become the movie star you are. And also it's where you met Sammo Hung, Wen Bio. Wen Bio. Well, these guys who are great stars. If you're a fan of Hong Kong cinema, you know these guys. And you still work with these guys today. You still know them today.
We're still together.
And you perform, there's you are with Sammo. Sammo lives in Canada now, doesn't he? Is he in Canada or is he back in Hong Kong?
Right now, he's in New York.
He was a pedicab driver, of course, wasn't he, in that movie?
Yes.
He was called Fat Dragon, wasn't he?
Yeah, Fat Dragon.
Yeah, it's okay, it's his nickname, we're safe. Jackie's back in a brand new movie, ladies and gentlemen. I'm always excited when I see Jackie in a movie, and this time it's a remake of a classic, Karate Kid. Okay?
Yeah.
And the young boy in this, you may recognise the little boy in this. It's Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith.
He is, of course, he's Will Smith's son. And he's a terrific young actor, isn't he?
He's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing boy.
What about the martial arts skills? How did he do with that?
Before I thought, how good you would be. I sent one of my best guys from my Jackie Chan stunt team to train him for 3 months. Then the son of Will Smith, I don't know. I said, okay, you go to train him. And after 3 months, my students call me, he's very good. Then after I see him for rehearsal, he showed me all the things. Wow, I just don't believe it.
Well, look at that. I mean, that's some pose going on right there. That's pretty good stretch.
Then after that, I trained him doing the movie for 4 months. And then I used with all the Chinese young boys to train him together. He's really, really good.
Well, you kind of need him to be able to do that, as well as the acting. He needs to be able to do that for the film to work, because it's the first film, Karate Kid, you never really believed the kid did karate, did you? He just did that one, the crane, the wax on, wax off, and the kick, and that was... Anyone could do that. Here, you actually have to see it.
No, I see it's different. In the old day, you're satisfied, but
Jackie, can you learn karate by doing the wax on, wax off?
Yes.
No, you can't. The kid here, you don't do that, do you? What do you teach him here? You don't do wax on, wax off.
I teach him jacket on, jacket off.
Jacket on, jacket off. You have to be very careful because that means something else in
Actually,
America.
everything's kung fu. Actually, I have a more idea. Like, you know, the door.
Yeah.
You know, the door, you can just push it up. You know, that's everything in the martial art.
Yeah.
Suppose I have more idea, just catch the mosquito. You know, I try to slip in, there's a lot of mosquito. I just tell the young kid, you know, grab the mosquito.
But you have to do it again and again to get the
Yeah,
benefit.
you have to, again, in the movie. You know, catch the mosquito also is a kung fu. Okay, you give me a punch.
Well, I don't know if this is wise. Seriously, you on this? Because this could be a bad thing for you. Jackie, seriously.
You seriously?
Jackie, I'm very adept to this kind of thing.
Okay, forget it.
No, I'm not. Come on, go ahead. Okay, here we go.
The punch will be like this.
Okay, where? On
Here.
the face?
Yeah.
How fast?
Whatever.
Whoa!
See?
He caught a mosquito.
Yeah, there's a mosquito. When you caught like this, then when somebody punch, boom.
Wow, so...
You just crap. Boom.
No, you didn't get that one. Boom.
Boom. Boom. Be careful.
What's his focus?
Focus.
You want to do one? Have a go. We're closing out. We're out of business. Just do it. Well, not the whole thing. Just that bit there. These were meant to smash easy. What's going on here? Ow! I think that's not the...
You tricked me.
I don't know, but that hurt. Why you do that to me, Jackie? Why did Jackie do that to me? Bloody kid, ladies and gentlemen, it's out this summer. Great fun. That's going to be a big hit, I think. I think that's going to be a huge hit. You know, people often, I know, ask you about the stunts because you used to do almost all your own stunts.
Yes.
I know you can't do them all now. You probably wouldn't want to, but you can't get the insurance, can you, for movies to do all
No.
that? No.
But it's okay in the U.S. You know, when they have like a security guy watching me, whatever I do, what are you doing? I said, no, I just walk around. Oh, it's okay.
But do you have insurance? Are you insured? Can you get insurance?
No, in Asia, no. It's blacklist.
Wow.
Because I've been doing crazy things for a long time ago, as you know.
Well, you got the plate in your head from Armour of God when you fell out of a tree at the end of that, didn't you? That was good. What other injuries do you have? Where are the worst injuries you sustained?
Skull, cut, broken, cut, tooth is gone, burn, crack. Broken.
You know what? It might be quicker just to show us the areas that haven't been broken. Just here, this area. I love that. Crack. So, how many ribs have you broken, Jackie?
Too many. Because the old day we don't have we don't care about the life. We don't care about human rights. We just do it.
When you were young, I guess this was the case as well.
I remember first time I met Steven Spielberg. Wow, Steven Spielberg, I just why should I talk to him, I'm so exciting. Then as soon as I see him, I just see the dinosaur. Wow, how can you make that movie? Human, dinosaur, jumping together. So easy, Jackie, I just push the computer. Then, okay. Jackie, let me ask you, how can you jump from this building, that building? I said, more easy. Rolling, jump, action, cut, hospital. You just jump.
But I've seen some of the stunts jumping onto moving buses and off of buildings and bouncing down stuff. And
we don't have a rehearsal. We don't have time to rehearsal. We don't have money. We just do it. We guess. Everything we say, we think. In the U.S., they say, the wind, the speed, and they can. We don't know how to count. We just, we can do it. Rolling. One shot. Boom. Hospital. I remember the Rambo in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I was jumped from the bridge to the hovercraft. Boom. Hovercraft, the wind, the sound.
Yeah.
Even the sound that big, I hear the crack from. Ka! I look at my feet upside down. Then the cameraman, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. Did you get the shot? I got the shot. Okay. If he didn't get the shot, I have to do it again. I said, okay, send me to the hospital.
Oh, man. But that is crazy, though. You must now look back and think, what was I thinking? You wouldn't do that again, would you?
Now, no. Now, I have to be very careful because anything happen, you shut down the whole production.
Yeah.
Like, remember, you see Rambo in the Bronx?
Yeah, of course. This was like one of your first big American
I broke the angle
films.
in the morning.
Yeah.
I work the afternoon.
Wow. You know what I love about Jackie's movies? When I first saw them, I fell in love with the fact that they weren't just out and out action. There was character, but there was also a lot of comedy in them. Out of Project Day, Part 1 and 2, police story films are great. Do you miss those days, though, or do you like it more now? I mean, I guess there's less chance you get...
Half and half.
Yeah, so there's...
Half and half. Sometimes I really miss the old day. I can create more things. When you're making American film, everything has to plan. And if suddenly on the set I want to change a table. What? Table? No. You know, we've been planning that for 3 months. Yeah. Suddenly you're talking about table. But in Chinese film, we can do whatever I like to do. When I met you years ago, even then, you were talking about, I'm going to start slowing down. I maybe not do as many stunts. I maybe not do action movies. And I was pleased for you because I wanted to see you survive, but at the same time, I was disappointed as a fan. And you didn't. You've done as many, you've done even more movies, it seems, and you're still making strong. Do you have a plan, though? Is there a date when you're thinking about, OK, no more stunts after this date, or are you going to let your body dictate that? I don't know. My body just keep telling me, do it. Yeah. Keep doing. And, of course, I'm slow down a little bit, but... And also, I think, as an action star, how long you can stay? If an actor, just like Clint Eastwood, like can still Robert De Niro. I want to be an Asian Robert De Niro. So this is why for the last 10 years, I've been changed my character, more acting. I want to be an actor who can fight. I don't want to be a fighter who can act. Well, you know what's great? Even though it's a kind of a family film and it's quite broad in some ways, there's a lot of scenes in Karate Kid where you are allowed to act, where you're allowed to do that, and you do it very, very well. You know, so I hope that we do see more of you being allowed to do those kind of scenes in those kind of movies. Yes, if I'm really totally open. If any big production or studio hire me, you know, singing a song, slow motion, the beach, kissing the girl, I do it. Yeah. I don't want to jump on the building. Yeah. How? Very difficult. So you'd rather not be doing that. You'd rather be doing the beach slow-mo romance scene. Wise man say. Beautiful. Right? I'm there for that film. Yeah. I'm there for that film. And you didn't even have a woman. 5 minutes. That's all you need. 5 minutes. You know, the 5-minute film for the beach, singing, kissing, 1 day, finished. That's it. 5-minute fighting, 1 month. Yeah. Boom, what was that? OK, well, before you go, I know we have to part company, and I've so loved having you on the show, because I hope you know I'm just a huge fan. I've always loved what you do and how you do it. But what, for you, of your movies, which one is the best movie for you? And of martial arts movies generally, if you wanted to introduce them to someone, which would be the best martial arts movie you've seen that you think captures the spirit of martial arts? I don't know. Well, that's not an answer, is it? Which one you like it? Well, mine is Drunken Master 2. Yes. Well, you do. Yes. Because it's incredible. Because also the police story is good. Police Story 1. Yeah. Also very good. Very good. And wow. Young Master. Drunken Master 2. Drunken Master 2. Better than Drunken Master 1. Yeah. It's different. Just like the old Karate Kid. The new Karate Kid is different. Look how Jackie managed to do that. That's pretty clever work. And Jackie, great to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Jackie Chan, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Take care. Thank you. Chan. Thank you. Master. Thank you, Jackie. Remember, great. Shall we get my next guest out, ladies and gentlemen? So grateful to you for coming on. Thank you so much. He's gone from being a shy young sportsman to being a global brand, and I think it's easy to forget what an incredible talent he was and he still is. I don't know much about football, but even I know that stuff's incredible. Will you please welcome the one and only David Beckham? How dapper does David look, ladies and gentlemen? You know, Dad, there's been a lot of excitement since we said you were on the show. A lot of people here obviously very excited. Are you used to that kind of Beckham effect? Are you used to that? Do you feel the ripple as you walk through a shopping centre or sit down in the cinema? Do you feel that kind of, it's David Beckham, it's David Beckham, it's David Beckham?
You kind of do. You never get used to it. I think it's one of those things that always amazes me. You know, when you do walk past people and, you know, it's a double take and
Women fall over. Yeah.
I don't know about that anymore, but
Yeah,
no,
that's right, because you've so lost your looks. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the World Cup, shall we?
Yeah.
Because you know I'm not the biggest football fan in the world. I'm not that knowledgeable about football. I was watching. I was enjoying it very much indeed. Where did we go wrong as a team, or did we do as well as we were ever going to do? Do you think?
You know, I think first off we have to congratulate South Africa because I think it was a successful World Cup. You know,
People didn't think they'd be able to pull it off, but they did a fantastic job.
I think there was a lot of doubts before the World Cup, and once it got underway, the fans had, you know, an enormous amount of fun, and you know, it was a great atmosphere to be around. And I think in the end, you know, Spain winning, they deserve to win because they played the best football.
It's a great year for Spanish sport with Nadal at the top and then winning the World Cup as well.
It's great, and you know, I've still got friends that play in that team, and I was happy for them and happy for the country because I know how much it means to them. Obviously, with England, it was disappointing because I think every time we go into a big competition, you know, the expectation levels are so high, and rightly so, because we have got some of the best players in Europe.
We
if
want
not the
to
world.
win, that's fair enough,
Of course,
isn't it? Yeah.
and our nation, you know, there's no better country in the world that comes together like we come together on a big occasion, especially World Cups.
Yeah.
You know, our fans are the number one in the world.
You feel the support. You must have known even over there how crazy people were going here.
Without a doubt, you know, you feel the build-up beforehand, and then, you know, we're out of it then, and then, you know, you just hear it from family or from friends. But we know the support that we get.
So what happened then? Why did we get... You know, I mean, because that was quite a bad thrashing we received at the hands of our German neighbours.
I think at the end of the day, you know, we know and they know as a team, the players, that they didn't perform at the end of the day. And I think when you play at that level, you have to perform, and we just didn't. And so that's the reason why we went out early.
In terms of they didn't come together, was a team properly, or individuals maybe weren't on top of their game? You
know, I always look at it as, you know, it's not about individuals, we're a team. And we enjoyed the good times, which we did enjoy the good times in the qualifiers. We qualified, you know, unbelievably. But then when the bad times come together, you stick together. It's not about the individuals in the team. It's not about the individual players, the great players that we've got performing. Well, we don't look at it like that. We look at it as, you know, it's about a team. Yeah, without doubt, it's not the manager's fault.
Well, let me ask you a question. This might sound like an incredibly stupid question, but Mr. Capello, his English he doesn't have the most fluent grasp of English. No. Okay, and some of the team perhaps don't speak Italian that well, I would have thought. Is that a problem? I know a lot of the people, you know, a lot of different teams have, they just get the best person for the job and the language isn't an issue, but do you think it could be an issue? I can't help but see it can't be a little bit of an issue.
No, because he only speaks English to the players.
But does he speak it? Can he communicate in the way that you could communicate, for example, if, for example, you decided to do the job?
I think he does, because he's a manager that's renowned around the world for the way he is and the person he is and how strict he is.
He's very no-nonsense, isn't he?
Yeah.
There's obviously afterwards, because we didn't do as well as people would hoped, people were saying he should go. He should go. I get the feeling you don't agree with that.
No, and I don't think any of the players agree with that, because I think, you know, he gave us everything, he gave the team everything to go out there and perform. And, you know, the team didn't perform. It's literally down to the players, and the players know that. You know, they're honest enough. People talk about, you know, do players care? They're on a certain amount of money. You know, they like nice cars. They like going on nice holidays. Do they care about the football? Trust me, these players care about winning.
Do you ever give them, if they're down in that break, the half-time thing, you ever give one of them a hug? Like if one of them looked like they were going to fight...
I think I've been hugged before.
Would you give them a hug?
I've been hugged
Who's
before.
hugged you in the half-time gap?
It was one of the Brazilian players from Madrid.
Was this was unexpected? Was this you were getting changed and he ran out, did he? It was one of those things. Beckham! Well, that's the one. That was a friendly hug.
Yeah.
How nice. And did it cheer you up? Did you feel good?
It made me feel happy, yeah.
Made you feel... Who doesn't love a hug from a Brazilian?
I love a hug.
So would you give out a hug?
If I felt one of the players wanted a hug.
Look, imagine I'm Wayne Rooney, all right? Yeah. Imagine I'm Wayne Rooney. Oh, our lad, I didn't do no goal. Right? Balderdash. I'm upset, right? Oh, I'm down in the dumps over here. So what would you say? Oh, bloody hell, I shouldn't go out again.
I'd probably...
Oh, David,
You're a little bit bigger than Wayne, so I'd say...
Oh, David. Oh, David. Is it all right?
Yeah.
I'll go and get a goal.
Yeah.
I'll get a goal.
And then you get
Thank you, David. By the way, you've got very hot buttocks, David. I don't know where he's meant to be from now. He's gone from the West Country. That was a lovely hug. I enjoyed that. And now there'll be lots of women just trying to get close to me for some of that second-hand Beckham action. You've been answering fans. You've been talking to fans online this week.
Yeah.
And they've been giving you questions about, I guess, about the World Cup, I guess about football in general, your career. How is that? Do you like engaging with people that way? Do you get a chance often enough to do that?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
this Yahoo thing that I did this afternoon, I was sat there and I was interviewed by fans from 19 different countries all at the same time, which was pretty amazing. You know,
I guess because you're known all over the world. I mean, everyone knows who you are.
Yeah.
What kind of questions? Any that you didn't expect? Any surprise you?
There was a few questions that surprised me, but you know, certain things like what would I do, you know, out in my spare time and stuff like that. So it was a normal kind of
And what do
thing.
you do? We know what you do. You hang out with Snoop Dogg. That's what you do in your spare time. Everyone knows this. You're out there teaching
No,
them
do
to
you
rap.
know what I actually do, which will probably surprise you? I love Lego.
You love Lego.
I love Lego.
You put together Legos.
And the funny thing was, right, I shouldn't probably tell this story, but I will. When I was in Milan for the 6 months I was sat there in my room and I thought, right, what can I do? Because I'm bored. I haven't got my children, I haven't got my wife
I
with
guess
me.
you can't just go out. You're going to get snapped everywhere you go.
No. So I went online and had a look what Lego was online.
What was available.
So
You're sure that's all you were looking at online without the family there with you?
Yeah. And there was a Taj Mahal. So I bought a Taj Mahal. And
You bought the Lego Taj Mahal?
yeah, it's amazing.
Not actual size.
No, obviously not actual size. So I bought it, and it arrived, and I started building it, and then I got injured, and then I had to go back home, so I never finished it. But
never finished the
my
Mahal?
kids are obsessed by Lego. So then, you know, I'm good friends with James Corden. So I texted him, I said, can you believe it? I'm playing Man United in 2 days, and I'm sat here building the Taj Mahal. And he sent one back saying, can you believe it? I'm sat in a hotel and I'm so bored, I just said to myself, should I shower? He said, I'm talking to myself. So we're both having this really boring conversation. I'm playing Man United in 2 days and building Taj Mahal.
Did you ever get to finish Taj Mahal?
No.
You know, I know exactly what to get you for Christmas now. But that's a lovely... I can see why you'd enjoy that. But you've got a bit of OCD going on, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
You're
I
a little
really
bit...
have, yeah.
Because someone I know said they'd been in your house. Don't worry, they were invited. It wasn't a stalker. They said you have to have the drink labels lined up a certain way in the fridge and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, if there's like 2 bottles of water and 2 bottles of Coke and 2 bottles of Sprite, if there's an extra can, then I take it out and put it in the cupboard and hide it.
So it's got to be 2 and 2 and 2.
Yeah.
So you don't like the odds?
No.
And if the two there, do you have the labels facing...
I have the labels facing perfectly, and it really, like, Victoria will go in and just tweak it a little bit, and then I'll go in and annoy me. But there's other things.
Now, why would she do that? Why would she want to annoy you?
Because well, it's the same, you know, I'm really tidy, and, you know, that's why we're kind of perfect, because
So say
she'll
you
mess
come
up
home.
the house
What's
and
the
I'll
worst
tidy
thing?
it up.
What's the worst thing she leaves home? Is it old knickers? There's some tights over there.
No, the old knickers I don't mind. That's fine. No,
Depends how big the pile gets, though, doesn't it? I mean, if there's a year's supply, you get cross.
You've seen the size of it. The knickers are only small.
I
Come
can
on.
imagine. Imagine it looks like a bit of tooth floss lying on the floor, doesn't it? Do people still call her posh much? Does she get that? I guess she gets it in the press,
She's
maybe.
down in my phone as posh.
P for posh.
Yeah, she's just, you know, she'll always be posh.
Oh, that's so nice. What does she call you? Is it still Golden Balls?
She's called me a few things. You know, she said to me before the show tonight, she said, just don't say anything silly. I said, no, you're the one that says the silly things, not me. So, no, it's every now and again it's Golden Balls.
And is there a kind of angry name she has for you when she's cross with you?
I really couldn't say that, even for the last show. Anyway, yeah, and I have the problem with, you know, I do the housework and I like to
Do you hoover? Do you like to hoover?
I like to hoover.
What do you listen to when you're hoovering? You put the music on,
Just
or you
the
like...
kids running around.
So you don't hear that. And the kids, you've got the 3 boys, of course.
Yeah, 3 boys.
I hope you don't mind me saying this. I was out in Los Angeles for my wife's work. She writes movies now. We were out there briefly, and we're staying in a hotel, and the hotel has a lovely kind of breakfast area. And while she was there, I was upstairs. I was probably in the gym. You know, this don't come cheap.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, you agree with me. And she said, you came in with your boys. I think it was, I don't know if it was all 3, was it 3?
Yeah, it was all 3
And
of
she
them.
said they sat down and they had and you said hi to afterwards. But she said what was so sweet was the boys were so charmingly well behaved. And she said, and afterwards, as you were leaving, she heard one of them say to you, "Daddy, thanks for taking us for breakfast, Daddy." And she said it was just the sweetest thing. And they seem, I just met one of them, what sweet little boys.
Do you know what? They are really sweet boys, and they're well behaved, because me and Victoria, our parents were strict with us, and we was brought up in the right way. And my mum's here somewhere in the...
she's here this evening?
Yeah, she's here. And, we want to bring our boys up the way we were brought up. We've got a fun house. They run around, they sing, they dance. They love Pineapple Studios, actually.
Don't we all?
Funnily enough, yeah. They love Louis. And,
You've got to have a bit of Louis Spence in your life.
Yeah, of course. So, they're very polite boys, like your wife said, and, I think that's the way they should be. They're very grounded boys. They, my 3-year-old Cruz, he's been saying please and thank you and excuse me since he was 3 years old, and that's the way. There's no
You're
reason
big on the
for them
manners. You're
not.
big on the
Yeah,
manners.
of course. There's no reason for them to be. They have their bedtimes. Cruz is 7:15, Romeo's 7:45, and Brooklyn's 9. So it's
Can I ask you,
important that
David, when they're in bed, if one of them's facing the wrong way, do you turn them around so they're all looking the same way? Because you've got an odd number there. That can't be good for you, having 3. You've got to go for number 4. David, you need number 4 to balance it out. When are we going to see number 4?
You know what? We're really enjoying our 3 boys at the moment. They're at a great age.
Are you trying for number 4?
We're always trying.
Now, here's the thing. There must be pressure on, not on them as such, but certainly people are thinking, I wonder if they're going to be footballers. I wonder if they'll have the skill their dad has, because you do have incredible skill. Do you see that in them? Is that something you would encourage? Is that something you'd be keen for them not to have to do? Because obviously the pressure's there.
I would love them to go into football. At the moment, they're calling it soccer because they've got proper American accents, full American accents.
Do you think the world will call it soccer before long?
I'm sure. If America have anything to do with it, they will, because they're such a powerful country and they believe. They believe in football.
Well, they did well in the World Cup, didn't they? They did pretty well.
It will get bigger and more. It will get bigger.
When are you playing again? When are you fit enough to play yet, or nearly there?
I'm 4 months almost after surgery. I wasn't meant to run until 4.5 months, but I started running 10 days ago.
So that's the Jackie Chan approach,
yeah,
right there.
Yeah, might as well. If not, I'll end up in hospital. So.
But it must be driving you a bit crazy, isn't it?
It is just killing me. It's not playing football. It's something that I've never had to. I've never had such a bad injury. I've broke a bone in my foot, broke my arm and ribs, but apart from that, this is the worst injury I've had.
And so when you get back in the game, and I don't want this to be a depressing question, but sportsmen playing at your level of the game, they have a limited period when they can keep that and compete with the younger players. How long do you think you got left in you at the very top?
I still believe that I have. I've always said that I don't want to retire from England. If I don't get picked again, then I don't get picked. But, I want to be available. And if I have the chance to play for the country again, I've played 115 times and I want to keep playing. So if I get the chance, then I believe that I've still got a lot to offer for the country.
Now, you recently went out to Afghanistan to visit the troops out there.
Yeah.
There's a shot of David out with one of the boys serving out there right now. How did that come about? How did you get out there? What did you get to do with them? How long were you there?
Well, obviously, since the guys have been out there, I've always wanted to make that trip and wanted to go out there. But obviously, with playing and the training and the football schedule, I've never been able to. So as soon as I got the injury, I said, to my manager, I said, I really want to go out to Afghanistan. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and we contacted the right people, and they said, right, we can make it happen this certain time. So I arrived at the base, and we left at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we landed in Dubai, and then we got on the C-17, which is this huge military plane.
Like a transport,
Yeah, and I was on there with 140 troops. Most of them, which is incredible. These kids are travelling over.
And they are just kids,
to fight, and they're 19, 20, 21 years old. And, I was on there, and then within half an hour of landing, we have to put body armour on, helmets, and they turn all the lights off in the plane, and there's no windows in the plane. And then all of a sudden you circle over, and then you go in fast. So then we land, and then I'm staying with the guys. I'm you know, eating breakfast with them, eating lunch with them.
So you hung out, you did what they did. You
Did
had no
exactly,
different
because,
treatment. You
you know,
flew in
it's-
the same way they did. And
It's something that I always do when I do something. It's important to do something like that, and you know, I don't need any special treatment. I wanted to stay with the guys, eat with the guys, and you know, we had bacon and eggs in the morning,
So the food
chicken
was-
curry.
food's pretty
it was
good?
great. And then Angel Delight. I haven't had Angel Delight for years.
you don't have to go
We
to
had
Afghanistan.
Angel-
You can still get that here.
So then, you know, I spent 2 days meeting all the guys, and I think what is great about being in my position is the fact that I can go somewhere like that and we get the awareness that everybody needs to realise what these guys are actually doing. You know, these young kids are going over, fighting for our country, and they're working in 54 degrees heat with armour, with full everything on. And, you know, I look and I think my mum and dad, you know, are really proud of me, of what I've achieved. You know, what must these parents think of what their children, their husbands, their wives do in Afghanistan? You know, it's something as you know, as a English person, we should be really proud of that and really support our guys. And it's something that I want to do in the future. I want to raise awareness. I want to raise, you know, money for the families that have lost, you know, their loved ones. And I think it's so important to be able to, you know, tell people, because until you actually go there and visit the guys and see and talk to them and look in their eyes and see that fear's there, but they know that they've got a job to do and they know what they're doing. And speaking to them, they actually feel like, you know, a lot of them said, you know, we feel as if we've forgotten over here. And I said, actually, do you know what? That's one thing all of you will never be forgotten, because what you're doing out here is, you know, the most amazing job I've ever witnessed.
How great to have you here,
Thank
David.
you.
Thank you for joining us. You know, I've been a fan of yours for many years, and like everyone in this country, I saw you become a star when you were a young kid, and then to see you grow into such a fine example of what a man in the limelight can be. Really, you're an exceptional person.
Thank you very
and
much.
I thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Beckham. I promise modesty. Okay, well, look, normally, I don't quite know what to say. I should start by saying thank you to all the guests that we've had this evening and throughout the whole 10 years we've been there, because we couldn't do a show like this without them. And this evening we had Jackie Chan, David Beckham, of course, Mickey Rourke and Roxy Music came into play. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. And thank you to all the guests we've had over the last 10 years. You know, and I would say of all those guests, at least 95% of them have been great. You know, there have only been a handful of terrible, crushing disappointments. It's been a remarkable period of my TV career being here at the BBC. I've worked with just about the best crew, and I hope you all know, even though I don't know any of your names, I hope you all know how much, there's one or two, how much it's meant to be to have you guys here, because I felt supported, and you are just the best people working the business here and backstage, and the sound department, makeup, upstairs in the gallery. Everyone here at the BBC has always been terrific, and all the crew we've brought in. And I've been lucky over the course of the 10 years to work with just some fabulous teams. Everyone who's worked as a producer on the show, and some have been with us for the whole time. Everyone who's worked helping me book guests and have been involved in trying to think of things to ask them and crazy things to do on the show. And just the whole team has been remarkable. And the experience I've had here with the BBC has been just a blessed one. I've been very lucky. I felt very honoured. Sometimes the papers might have made me out to seem a bit arrogant and a bit kind of out of control, but you know, that's not the case. I've never come in here feeling anything but grateful and lucky and honoured. So thank you. And we wouldn't have a show without you watching, so thanks for watching. Good night. Good night. Thanks, guys. That was horrible.